available unit in the city needs to get here now.
Multiple gunshots are heard from the lobby.
It's devastating.
Rabbi Bertenthal says security has always been a concern long before today's shooting.
We have an armed off-duty police officer guarding us.
And that the gunman's attack on the Tree of Life Synagogue won't change how she lives her life.
There's good and there's evil in the world. We never let evil win.
She says today's attack is indicative of our time in history.
We see, spikes in hatred at different times of history, and I think we're living through a hard time right now.
And the type of language that has become more common in our everyday.
It's a terrible thing, but in a way it's not a shocking thing, because the vocabulary of hate has just been not even allowed, it's almost been celebrated of late in our nation.
And that we as Americans all bear responsibility.
In Jewish tradition, when a terrible thing like this happens, there's someone who's guilty, that would be the shooter, but all are responsible. We're all responsible for having allowed hatred to spike in our nation.
But that here in the Quad Cities, religious leaders have taken steps towards cohesiveness.
We have a very powerful coalition of religious leaders who get together. I had, before I even found out what had happened, a Muslim leader in the community had already reached out to me by email.
And she says building these relationships is part of what we have to do.
It's become difficult in our nation for a Democrat to speak to a Republican and a Republican to speak to a Democrat, but I think we have to. I think we must. If we will view each other as enemies, it will lead to violence. But we're not enemies. We're Americans with different points of view.
Rabbi Bertenthal says the Jewish community is devastated by the attack on the Tree of Life Synagogue, but she's hoping, praying, and trusting that all Americans share the pain of today's tragedy. Rabbi Bertenthal says there will be a vigil at Temple Emmanuel on Sunday here in Davenport at 6:30 p.m. And earlier I spoke with Davenport police, and they told me they're providing extra patrols to sensitive locations in the area, and that includes religious centers.